this live or catching up with the recording after the event. I'm really looking forward to chatting to Rachel, and we've got a few awesome questions for her. So thanks to those of you that sent in some questions. I'm going to kick us off with Ruth's question, or I suppose it's a couple of questions rolled into one. Ruth has said, can you give us a little pen portrait of yourself? She's wondering where you live, what you do. She's asking about children, pets, hobbies, and she wants to know about your literary interests as well. So there's quite a few things there you can talk about to introduce yourself, Rachel, to those that don't know you.
Afternoon, everyone. Where do I live? I live in Edinburgh, but I grew up in Glasgow. I was just talking to Orly about Glasgow. I grew up in Glasgow. I studied in Glasgow. I did music at Glasgow University as my degree. I was a violinist as well. And then I went to America my final summer, and I got, the word in Scotland is scunnered. I got fed up with it. I met a lot of tiger moms in America and a lot of hothouse children, and it became very competitive, and I didn't like it. And so I came back having had a good time and done lots of amazing music, but I decided to change career after, and I graduated in music, and I thought, what on earth am I going to do? And someone said you can become a chartered accountant with a non-relevant degree now. So I think I was one of the first students to go in doing it that way. I got a job at Ernst & Young. I have no idea how. And I did some difficult exams over 3 years and became a chartered accountant. And then you kind of, it is your ticket to being employed, really. But I never felt terribly at home about being an accountant, although I was good at it. I seemed to get promoted a little bit. I worked in Luxembourg and then came back here and moved back to Edinburgh rather than Glasgow, because that's just where my work was with the American banks I was working for. And then I halfway through my career, I decided I've had enough of banking. And before the banking crisis, I managed to get a job at university and became an academic. And sort of the second 15, 17 years was being a lecturer and doing my doctorate and running the accounting degree programme at Edinburgh Napier University, which I just finished about 3 years ago and took a little bit of an early retirement. So that's my background. I've got a dog. I don't have kids. I did get married for 7 years to a monk, actually, a former Benedictine monk and Catholic priest. There you are. He did a runner from his monastery because I walked in one day and he decided he wanted to marry me. There was lots of letters written. I didn't go there hoping to meet a husband. I was 39. And then he moved in. He came and did his PhD in church history in Edinburgh, and we got married. And then he got his PhD and he got a job at quite a big fancy posh church in Edinburgh. This is Episcopalian. And decided he wanted a new wife. I don't think I was vicar's wife quality, actually. So he left. So we split up, basically, and I'm fine about it now. It's taken a while. That was about 9 years ago that happened. So I've been single since then. I got a dog called Hamish, a Scottish Terrier, who's got black fur and really lovely. Stubborn wee guy, though, very stubborn. So as I say, no kids, but I love being an auntie, although they're all growing up now and they're not as interested anymore. So they're off doing their own thing. My 2 nephews and a niece. And I'm just really enjoying being with all my friends now and doing yoga and doing singing. I took up singing after the violin. I sing in 2 good choirs, so I would do some lovely concerts every year. I really enjoy that, and that's a large part of my friendship group is singing in the choirs. We sing all sorts of classical, but a lot of modern stuff as well, as in the classical field, but really beautiful modern music that most of you, I think, would either know or really like. So, yeah. I'm not really a singer, but I've got good orchestral skills. I can follow a conductor and I can read music and sing in tune. So I'm not a trained singer though. So that's been a revelation. Yeah. I've forgotten what other questions.
I think you covered everything there and more, Rachel, very very succinctly. That's such an interesting journey, and it gives us a really nice overview of the twists and turns of your life. Like what a wonderful variety of experiences. I've been enjoying being an aunt recently as well because my sister had a little baby and she called her baby Hamish. So we've both got we're both looking after small Hamishes at the moment and enjoying being aunts by the sound of it. I want to bring Rosie's question to you next because she's joined the chat. Hi, Rosie. She says, I'd like to know about learning Gaelic. And I think that you, Rachel, we were speaking about this before and you said you pronounced it Gaelic. So apologies if there's been a mispronunciation there on my side. But you can clarify for me in a moment. Rosie added that her maternal grandmother grew up speaking it, but she never knew her. So she wants a little bit more insight. And yeah, it's a great question. Thank you, Rosie.
It doesn't matter Gaelic, Gaelic. Some people are really pedants about it. They say Irish Gaelic is the Gaelic and Scottish Gaelic is the Gaelic. But people now, anyone who's sensible now just thinks that's all a nonsense. You can just say Scottish Gaelic or Irish Gaelic or Scottish Gaelic, Irish Gaelic. Anyway, yeah, it's two different languages, but obviously derived from the same source. They're both Celtic languages along with Welsh, Cornish, Breton, Manx. Isle of Man has a form of Gaelic as well. So that's fascinating. Your grandmother, I wonder if she's still alive, Rosie, or I would love to, yeah, see getting hold of a native speaker. they're rare beasts. And the thing is, well, they're not that rare, and it's coming up again, it's growing. But they have that depth of cultural knowledge and vocabulary and sayings that us learners coming in from the outside don't have. So I wished I'd paid more attention when I was young. My best friend's mum was a native speaker from Tiree, and I wished I'd paid attention or asked her more about it. So if your grand's still alive, Rosie, I would mine her as much as you can while you can. Yeah, no, I started the degree program when I finished work as an accounting lecturer. Just thought it's part of Scotland. It's a huge part of our history, but we Lowland Scots who don't speak it, we almost don't see it. And to the extent that a lot of Lowland Scots get angry at like Gaelic street signs, Gaelic place names that you'll see on the road signage around Scotland, they get in a fury about that. It's really, really bizarre. Given that this was a major culture, a major centre of learning out in the West over hundreds of years. And that's kind of what I'm learning about in the current course I'm doing. I'm nearly finished first year of a part-time degree programme, and we're now looking at the culture and history, and it's utterly fascinating. And I thought I'd rather it would be good to learn about this whole part of Scotland that I have just really very little knowledge of, having grown up in Glasgow and Edinburgh. Yeah, so it's been really good. So I've got so much reading I want to do now. So I'd love to meet your grandmother, Rosie. Don't know if that was.
Thank you, Rachel. Rosie sent a message and she said that her grandma died before she was born. So I imagine that it was very interesting to kind of hear about your experience around the language and also a little bit more about the culture. That's fascinating. And you said that you've got a lot to read, which brings us in nicely to Carrie's question. She wants to know about your writing, and she wondered whether you just write for academia or whether you write for pleasure too.
Well, I finished academic writing, I think, although I do have an essay in Gaelic to submit, although I suspect that'll be more of a Jan and John form of Gaelic than what I wrote for my PhD in a sort of education theory PhD. So no, I write. I wish I could say it was for pleasure because it's hard. It's really hard writing, but I've got this idea for a book that I've had for like 15 years now, and I've done a good part of it, and I've pitched it to publishers, and there's been some interest. It's non-fiction. It's about Scotland, cultural history with stone. So it's called 12 Precious Stones, and I take a stone like a cairngorm and a brooch that I got from my grandmother, and I trace where it came from, and I've linked in with her life, how she had it with her when she emigrated to the States and back 3 times and so on in the early 1900s, early 20th century. And so that's one story. I've got another one on sand, which is about a big beach up on the Murray coast, which is all pure quartz, and it's got loads of archaeological history around it. And where did all that sand come from? It buried a medieval village in a sandstorm in the 1600s. So little stories about culture and history linking into each chapter being about one particular form or type of stone. So that's the book. And I'm hoping to go to Skye in September to do my second year of my degree face-to-face on the island. And I'm hoping that while I do the degree, I'll be away from daily distractions of Edinburgh, like choirs and so on. And I'm hoping just every day to spend an hour or so on my book and get that done as well as my second year of my Gaelic degree. I'm writing in English. I suppose it is for pleasure when it goes well. But I'm not the most disciplined person, and yeah, my brain finds all sorts of reasons why I shouldn't sit down and write every day. But I've been doing quite a bit lately, so plodding on, keeping going, not giving up. That's what it's all about. Don't know if that answers the question.
That was, again, a very nice, thorough answer. And I know I've had the privilege of reading some of your work in the past. We spoke about it at the Copy Yoga Hobbies edition. And yeah, it's just marvelous. So if you wouldn't mind me resharing some of that on the community page after, then other people can go and check it out that haven't had the opportunity before. Thank you, Rachel. I'm going to, wow, the time has flown, but I'm just going to end on Joy's question. She posted some very nice comments on the community, Rachel. I'm not sure if you had the chance to see them, but I'll tag you in. And she concluded by saying, fancy a real cuppa sometime. and Laura Garland, who's also in Edinburgh, chimed in that she would like to join too. So maybe you can have a real cuppa yoga Scottish edition sometime, and obviously let us live vicariously and send a little picture if you do bring that together. I think that will be wonderful.
I put my mobile up there. I don't know if that was, are you supposed to do that? Anyway, for Joy, I didn't see the other message, but if Joy wants to drop me a text or whatever, we can maybe fix a date. And sorry, I've forgotten the other lady's name, but yeah, more the merrier.
Laura can probably see your number as well if you post it into the community.
It's there.
Oh, fantastic. Well, keep us posted on that. And yeah, maybe we can manage to get a real life covering sometime as well, because it's been lovely chatting to you. And I do hope to get up to Edinburgh sometime in the foreseeable. Do send it my love. Thank you for all of your wonderful questions today, everyone that sent them in. It's been such a joy chatting to you, Rachel, as always. The time has just flown by. Could have chatted for hours, but I'm sure that we'll see you sometime very soon on the mat. Thank you.
Everyone, thank you.